Rick said that probably 3/4 of the farmers here are looking at planting small grains for grazing or for grain. And if you knew how acutely short some of this small grain seed is, we would excuse you to jump up and run outside and make a phone call right now to your seed dealer. From what I hear, I call about 2 seed dealers a week to say, how are we doing on seed supply? If it's triticale, it's very rare. If it's beardless wheat, it's gone from about half the dealers. And the thing about beardless wheat is we don't have another beardless wheat seed production area that can deliver seed into West Texas. Like in Kansas, if we're running short of TAM 111 or TAM 112, we may be able to go to Kansas and get 10 or 20 truckloads and bring it down here. You won't find beardless seed, wheat seed in other places to do that. We certainly advocate that a strategy here, if the seed's really tight, unless you're looking at fall forage production, you probably can back off your seeding rates on things that you plant now for hay harvest or silage in the spring or for grain harvest. I would take TAM 111 at a 25% reduced seeding rate, then plant something else that I think is an inferior variety. Because I don't think the 25% seeding rate drop from 60 pounds to 60, 65 pounds is going to have enough to impact my grain yield very much next spring. And I still have TAM 111 and attributes that that variety brings to the table. Okay, we have in AgriLife Extension for the High Plains a list based on multi-year, multi-site data that we call our picks. Do I say this is our recommended varieties? No, I don't take it that far, but given all the data that we have, if somebody gave me these numbers and I looked through the tables, these are the wheat varieties that Trossel would include on his farm. We've got this broken up by full irrigation, limited irrigation, dry land. TAM 112 is empty over here under full irrigation because sometimes in the full irrigation 112, which we know increasingly is a very drought-tolerant wheat variety that has good water use efficiency. The data out of Amarillo also shows that TAM 111 appears to have good genetic water use efficiency. But 112 doesn't stand up very well under high input systems in full irrigation. So this is the list. This again is what we would like to include on our farms if we can get the seed. Now, one other thing here I'll just mention is Winterhawk is a variety that's popped up here. This data, by the way, represents a minimum of 17 sites over 3 years. Winterhawk has caught a lot of attention, truly because of yields. There's one caveat about Winterhawk that I'll mention. It is susceptible to stem rust. We know about leaf rust, we know about stripe rust, especially if you farm off the caprock. But stem rust is something, there's only a couple varieties out there that have susceptibility to. The wheat breeders don't normally like to release a wheat variety with stem rust problems. But Winterhawk made it through, it yields well. We kind of recommend that people limit their Winterhawk to about 25% of their acres. Okay, I saw some people still writing this stuff down up here. Did you get what you wanted? Okay, all right. One other, well, we don't need that slide. Okay, back up. All right, this slide, this is irrigated. This represents 2009 to 2012 data. We left the 2013 data out of the harvest because we had too many variables introduced by the repeated freezes that we had. But the pick wheat varieties that I just showed you on irrigated, this again is 22 sites over 4 years. The pick wheat varieties averaging here about 66 bushels an acre. And if we compare the wheat varieties that we call our picks, there's a list again down here. Winterhawk was the highest yielding at 71.8 bushels an acre over 4 years. And we compare it to all other wheat varieties that were in these trials. In this case, 22 sites over 4 years. All other wheat varieties yielded just about 59 bushels an acre, and so our pick wheat varieties had an 11% advantage over the non-pick wheat varieties. And for what it's worth, we have folks out here that still take some beardless wheat to grain, it might be seed blocks. None of the beardless wheats have ever consistently yielded that well. Yes, I know producers that maybe in 1 year said that beardless wheat was their top yielding variety. It happens once in a while. But beardless wheats, our pick wheat varieties, out-yielded beardless wheats by 23% over 4 years. So it's just the data there to kind of show a little bit of the clout that's behind our pick wheat varieties and what they represent. Any quick comments or questions about wheats? Yes, sir.
What about river wheat? You know about that variety?
Okay, the question is about Ruby Lee. It has been tested in the High Plains. It's an Oklahoma variety. I don't remember the specifics. It is used a fair amount in Oklahoma. It has not been one that has been, middle at best here in the High Plains. There are two, since you mentioned Ruby Lee, there's two other Oklahoma varieties that we kind of have on an informal watch list. Gallagher is the main one that we think looks like with another year of good data, which we could have had this year, that Gallagher probably going to find a home on the SPICS list. Anything else? Okay, everybody, just think here, you smell something good. I believe lunch is here. And David,